Did you know that, in essence, a person is a highly developed anus that has work, dreams, and ambitions? And this is not the most disgusting thing in the human body, I assure you. Enjoy your meal, because today we have frank facts about the human body that will blow your mind. And let's start with a life hack. If you get hiccups that don't stop for several hours, it's enough just to stick your finger in your anus and massage the rectum. If that doesn't help, your day will still get better. What do we have here? It's the miracle of childbirth. But sometimes tragedies happen. If a woman dies during childbirth, the baby can be pushed out by gases accumulated in the mother's body. Wow. By the way, the umbilical cord is a valuable source of stem cells that help treat diseases of the blood and immune system. No wonder there's a conspiracy theory that rich people buy embryos to stay young forever. In my opinion, this is absolutely immoral madness. And if we've already talked about embryos, then there's one amazing fact that proves that the anus is the head of everything. Did you know that the very first cells that develop in a human embryo form the anus? This fact suggests that people are simply highly developed anuses. God bless science. And anuses. You should also know that initially all embryos at the first stage of their development have female genitals. All of us were once girls in the womb, but half of the embryos somehow managed to grow male genitals. This is evidenced by one feature in the male body, or rather, that seam on the scrotum between your gonads, balls, family jewels, or whatever you call them. This seam is the same place where, in a parallel reality, the man's vagina would be located if they did not have the Y chromosome. Remember, it's not a zipper, so don't try to unzip it. A man's scrotum is not just outside for no reason. It covers the testicles where the semen is produced, matured, and preserved, and from which scientists, serial killers, and shop assistants grow. The normal temperature of the human body is 36.6 degrees Celsius, and sperm is produced at a temperature of 33 degrees. If you overheat or overcool, you can give birth to some kind of dictator. But let's go back to anuses. Did you know, for example, that the anus can stretch 15 centimeters without any serious damage? Doctors regularly find incredible objects in their patients' anuses that definitely should not be there. Keys, flashlights, glasses, guns, and even tins of preserves. Continuing the topic below the belt, I'll talk about one disease. It's called rectal prolapse, or simply prolapse of the rectum. Sometimes it happens that the rectum falls out like a carpet at the Cannes Film Festival, and it's not so easy to stuff it back. But if this happened to you, there is a proven method that even the University of Michigan recommends. It's not possible to stuff the intestine with your hands. You need to sprinkle it with granulated sugar. The granules absorb moisture. The intestine will start shrinking and return to its native abode. Life would be hell if our body didn't know how to get pleasure. He does it in many ways, but orgasm is the most accessible of them, so everyone is in your hands. Got it? Right? But did you know that some people can achieve orgasm with the help of thoughts? It's not so easy to do. You need to learn to breathe correctly, concentrate on the heartbeat, moan correctly, and develop your imagination. People call it a mental orgasm. As for me, I am a mental billionaire. Erection, or in scientific terms, powerful boner, is an increase in the volume of the penis and clitoris as a result of blood filling the spaces of the cavernous bodies. If this happens to you, don't worry. It's completely normal and not scary at all. But don't overdo it. The penis can be broken. Sometimes there are some pathologies, for example, due to some medications, then the erection does not disappear even after discharge, which can lead to terrible consequences. If it continues for several hours, the blood begins to turn and harden. This reduces the flow of oxygen to the tissues and can cause penis's ischemia. In simple words, penile infarction. It's better to see a doctor because it is very painful. During an erection, the penis requires 2 tablespoons of blood. In some cases, the spoons can be teaspoons or bar spoons. When this happens, the penis can increase in size by 5 times, which sounds solid. Human culture is biased on the size of male genitalia. We build skyscrapers, buy huge cars to show. I have one bigger than you. But in fact, humans have the largest penis size ratio of all primates. Gorillas, these huge primates, have a penis which is usually 6 to 7 centimeters. What's more interesting is that if you take King Kong from an old movie, calculate the size of his body, then theoretically he'd be able to have sex with the woman he dragged to the skyscraper. Judging by everything, his male organ should have reached 25 centimeters. Absolutely standard size. By the way, keep in mind, almost every hand you've shaken in your life has held a penis. I don't see any cons, but it's just a fact. Perhaps after a few handshakes, you were holding the genitalia of some celebrity. Human culture is also a little bent on female genitalia, but they can be of real benefit because they can fight world hunger. Did you know that it's possible to break bread if instead of yeast, you use cheesy secretions from the vagina? Some people build businesses on this. Women are also much more attractive to vampires. For example, vaginal lubrication is formed mainly from blood plasma that seeps through the walls of the vagina during arousal. That is why vampires can bite women not only on the neck, but also much lower. Actually, men too. A few spoonfuls of blood can be found here and there. An interesting fact about human feces. They are everywhere. Literally everywhere. They're in the air, on toiletries, and on your face. God, what am I talking about? Once, scientists conducted an experiment where they tried to check whether it's possible to somehow escape from the crap that surrounds us. They took a new toothbrush, hid it in a locked cabinet, and left it for several days. As it turned out later, particles of feces still somehow got on the brush. Shit happens, but that's okay. It's also interesting that you can vomit your own feces. This is not Chuck Palahniuk's fantasy, but reality. The thing is, you can't hold your bladder for long. Sooner or later, it will burst. You'll pee, and everyone will laugh. But you can restrain the anus almost as much as you want. For example, if you sew up the anus, sooner or later, feces will come through the mouth. This often happens with pop stars and rappers. Are there bigger perverts than doctors? They invent strange procedures, the purpose of which is to stuff something into your body. For example, there's such a procedure when doctors press on the head of the penis, simultaneously inserting a finger into the anus. This is how doctors check reflexes. If the sphincter contracts, then everything's normal. This is sometimes done to people who have been in an accident to check if their spinal cord is damaged. Attention, dentists, do not do such checkups. If you've ever ridden a roller coaster, you might feel like your organs are moving inside your body. Well, the point is that you are right. Organs are not actually attached to anything, and our chest is the only thing that prevents them from falling out into this beautiful outside world. For example, when women have a cesarean section and deliver a child, the organs begin to spread and take up free space. Also, surgeons, when performing operations, do not remember the position of the organs, so sometimes it's difficult to place them as they were before the operation. Over time, the body restores order on its own. Sometimes it takes several weeks. It's also interesting that sometimes during a kidney transplant, the old kidneys are not removed from the body, but are left inside the body. For example, there's a man in the Netherlands who has 7 kidneys in his body. This is an incredible world record, although absolutely ridiculous. If they do not have infections, then there's no point in removing these kidneys. It's very expensive. The human body is unique. Did you know that gastric juice is so powerful that it can dissolve almost any metal? The mucus that covers the intestines protects us from this maniac. But there is Crohn's disease, in which this mucous membrane decreases and the body gradually digests itself. If it's not treated, the entire tract will be riddled with holes. The last fact for today is more of a myth, but there's a lot of truth behind it. If you've ever robbed fresh graves, you may have noticed that the fresh dead often have facial hair and may also have long fingernails and toenails. It is a myth that people continue to grow hair and nails. Both hair and nails need energy for their cells to divide and grow. A dead person does not have this energy. I don't have it either after a working week. However, the skin on the dead man's chin loses moisture, exposing a previously invisible part of the hair. The so-called goosebumps strengthen this effect of the appearance when the muscles contract and the hair straightens. That's so disgusting. Oh, I won't sleep now. And so that you sleep normally and see only rainbow dreams, you can like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon and tell you something more disgusting. Take care, my friend, and remember, you are the best of anuses.